Hi guys, my name is Solarsammy, that's the Daco intro. Today we're going over, many things, actually, with my series. First off, this is probably gonna be a long video. Firstly, we're going off with Minecraft Batim. Now, I'm gonna give a disclaimer, I'm not giving away any lore. Don't come at me, team, please. Like, that isn't already out. I'm just, I guess, spoon-feeding you guys the lore, like what is happening, the story that is not really coherent. Also, yeah, I redyed my hair again, and got it cut. No more long hair, no more black and orange or whatever the heck it was. Yeah, that was not a mistake in my last video. So I have a list here of things to go over. A few of them are just like controversy, I guess, about like things going on, like time Bendy dying and then time being a thing, but like not being the same person as time Bendy, but also being the same person. That was not a like thing that we copied from like the Sun Moon show or anything. We did the idea first. And hey, we got out first on YouTube. We just didn't take off. But all jokes aside, still riffing on that idea of like old moon, new moon, whatever, time Bendy. Time cannot talk to time Bendy. Like, he's dead. He's not like comatose or anything. I guess the easiest way to put it is, like, I used to think, like, rewatching the series over again, like, just from memory, I used to think, that when he got amnesia, time Bendy died, and then became time / Bendy. Right? That just makes sense. But, you know, reanalyzing my series that I had apparently not paid attention to, that's what ADHD does. I noticed a few things that, like, his personality didn't change until season 3. Sorry, season 4. I'm so used to calling season 4 season 3 back when I was confused what season it was. Like, with the season 1A and season 1B. I don't know. Now thinking that time Bendy died over time as... Okay, this is gonna get very confusing, so pay attention. Time / Bendy, I'm going to refer to as time. Any other Bendy in the timeline or whatever will be referred to as Bendy. Or if it's GB, gay Bendy, like with his corruption, will be referred to as GB. Time Bendy is the, like, our original Bendy, who we start off with in the pilot. I would go further than that, but, like, before the pilot as well. He's OG Bendy. He's from the OG timeline. But that probably wouldn't make sense to you guys yet. For this video, I don't really know what I should cover, aside from just breaking it down piece by piece. We're gonna do a breakdown video, that's what this is. Yeah, so there's time / Bendy, who goes by both, unless, like, his name is Bendy, right? But then, like, say they're in another timeline or, like, another universe dimension thing that has another version of him and Alice, he's gonna go by Time. Okay, that's established. Time Bendy, our original Bendy, OG Bendy, whom I'm not going to call OG Bendy because reasons. Just hi. Because deal with it. And then GB, who is not going to be referred to very much unless we're talking about that specific dimension. Back on time Bendy and time topic, he used to go by the name Time before time was a thing, like before he died, you know. And that was given to him by a different version of him in a timeline before the pilot. That's very similar to the pilot. Now, the reason many events in that timeline happen very similarly to the pilot is because it's in a timeline loop by this point. Okay, you remember the timeline arc? Yeah, that's still relevant. Still heavily relevant. So, try not to give too much away because then it's just not entertaining to watch. What I mean by give away, I don't mean like what isn't out yet. I do have to state that explicitly because some people on my team might not get that. Like breaking it down so people can understand, because I know for a fact that probably only like the DFH team and the Minecraft Batim team and Artzii Inkk is gonna know the full story of Minecraft Batim and its universe, canon universe. Like, if you're just watching Daycare For Hire and you don't bother to read the description, but then like a few seasons later the name Bendy and Alice is brought up and nobody is like explaining like why, or like why Sun doesn't know who Bendy and Alice is but Moon does, and like who are they in this case, you might be thinking of Bendy and the Ink Machine. You might be like very confused, and I'd agree with you. It's really confusing. The power might go out because it's raining. If you're watching Minecraft Batim and then suddenly like Bendy, I remember in like season 2 or 3, Alice is going through Bendy's diary and it talks about some animatronics called Sunray and Moonfall. That is the same characters of Sunray and Moonfall. Whenever those names are mentioned, it's talking about the same characters, it's not two separate characters. They originate from TikTok FNAF, which was a short, like, little goofy FNAF series I decided to do back in 2022. I think like in the very beginning of Minecraft Batim, because it was after season 1 finale when Time got his like iconic look, you know. So anytime they're mentioned like specifically in the roleplay is either Bendy or Alice, probably Bendy, I'm pretty sure it's Bendy mentioning this, is saying like, oh, there's characters of like people we knew in the past who are not canon to anything else. That is something, that's something to pick up on. Not canon to anything else. Reasonably, like IRL, that was literally just referring to TikTok FNAF and the people they knew in the OG timeline before like a bunch of stuff happened that we will cover later. Because if I cover it now, we are not coming back to this topic right now. I'll go on like a tangent. That's just how my mind works. Just like one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, donuts. Oh yeah, yeah. That's why they're mentioned. We were not talking about that first. We were talking about why Time Bendy's dead. Yeah. So I originally thought, like, even I think after like filming it as well. And I'm going with this idea now, was that he died after, like, when he got amnesia and then became a new person. Now I'm thinking that's not how it should be. That's not what happened. Because his personality really doesn't change until after, I think it was like season 7 that we gave that past episode, and it was Susie reigned and Time snapped. That took place back before season 4 and after season 3 ended. That is the nightmare that Bendy and Sunny were plagued with, that Susie kept teasing them about, or just messing with them about. Alice did die, actually, that is canon. She did die for a little bit, and then came back, I think around, like, the end of Tricks in season 4. Like, season 5, sorry. Around, like, the ending of Tricks into the beginning of, Or no, I'm wrong. That's right. Because Bendy has his voice in that episode. She comes back between the Diary War and Tricks, and gives Bendy back his voice that Susie stole. Oh yeah, Susie can steal voices, by the way, or at least his specifically. That's beside the point. Oh yeah, I no longer look like the teacher from Toy Story 3. Destroyer, do not point that out, I swear. I more look like, maybe like Musa from Winx Club? I don't know. Or Coraline. You know what? Coraline. If you made this far in the video, call me Coraline in the comments. Confuse people. Yeah, my hair is not just straight blue, though. It's blue and black. So I was trying to go with like a different color, but I wanted to go with purple. But then I thought, I've always wanted to do blue and never done blue, so I did blue. Yeah. So I'm gonna say that this like also probably makes sense that, ooh, that makes too much sense actually. So we could say that also team, pay attention, this is probably gonna be canon. They were both present because when time broke, he both did and didn't die, and it split his soul in two. That's why it becomes like a yin yang or whatever. That's not spoilers, it's just my overall idea, and I can't really like not tell you that. And like that's just like, hey, his soul is a yin yang now. That's why it looks different and weird to like Mr. Boy and people who can see his soul. And it really just makes sense because when Bendy breaks time, right? Everything just a bunch of stuff happens. And he sets all these events in motion, but when it breaks and catches up to him, we could say that. Why is this so hard to freaking say? I told my brother this yesterday. Or day before, I don't know. It just makes more sense if time breaks, right? And affects him immediately, and then he time travels again. And then it did and didn't affect him. Because, you know, time travel and shit. And then when it catches up to him, that's when it affects him. So he dies, but also doesn't, and because it happens twice, we're gonna say his soul is split in two. And those parts eventually become a yin-yang of one soul, one whole, right? And Time Bendy is, well, they're both conscious, but Time Bendy mostly is conscious, right? And isn't really aware of time being there yet until I guess he gets his memories back, which is somewhere around, I don't remember the number, but it's around For the Love of Bendy episode in season 3, where he gets a lot of his memories back. Not most of them, not all of them, definitely not. Like, just a lot. It just keeps like coming back. That would make sense why he gets his memories back so fast. Oh my gosh. There's two of them. That makes sense. I mean, you guys have seen us like come up with ideas and just roll with it on the spot, right? Probably. If you watch Bits and Skits. I mean, that did happen with Bendy X Corruption, and the next episode after that, so. Yeah, that's what happened. If you're confused, play it again. Because I'm certainly confused. So, two Bendys. Two versions of the same person that are the same, fused together. He's just Sun Moon. Oh my gosh. No. What? Okay, it makes sense because I know this is a story and fantasy, I can do whatever the heck I want with the freaking storyline, but like, if you Google how long amnesia lasts, there's not really a real answer. It can last like a few years, a few months, a few days, forever. Like, you just don't know. It depends on the damage or like how severe, you know, it's the same thing. It depends on the severity of the damage or the like infliction, whatever. Or like if you're that makes sense because then one half both does and doesn't have Swiss cheese brain, while the other both does and doesn't. I know I just said the same thing, shut up. But yeah, that's how I'm explaining that he got his memories back, like, almost immediately, but also is able to change around season 3 when he's losing it because okay, something I've noticed personally upon rewatching the series and making the series is there are certain points that, like, Time loses his mind, right? Of course, throw insanity in the mix, let's see what happens. No. When Time Bendy loses it, he doesn't really realize he's losing it, which kind of connects back to Lord of the Roleplay, my book on it, by the way, you should totally read it. It happens in one of the timelines before the pilot, like I said. The thing with that is it goes to, like, time, I guess. Okay, it's not a time loop, per se. It's just he's chasing Susie, who, like, I guess is conscious throughout this whole thing, just constantly killing Alice and Benny, and like it gets to a point where it's like he's tethered to Susie to where if he dies, like, he just respawns back to where he was. I'm not riffing on Destroyer's past. Do not. I had that idea before, like, you introduced it. I just didn't know how to explain it. Except he remembers it. He can stop chasing Susie if he wants to. Like, if he dies of natural causes here... Sorry, going on a tangent, just so that people on my crew know that this is not, like, a riff on their stuff. Like, if Bendy dies not to Susie, he doesn't start over, it's just... he chooses to go back. He has to choose to go back. And the reason it does affect him if Susie kills him and he starts back over is because, well, you can't go anywhere if you're dead. That's just not fun. So, eventually, his will and desire to get Alice back just kind of, like, manifests itself as his power. Like, if he dies but still wants to go back, which is most of the time, he's just automatically, like, back. But Susie's like, oh man, not again. You know what, time to kill Alice again. But, like I've said before in the roleplay as Bendy, it's not a curse, it becomes one. Like, to him. It becomes a plague on his life. He doesn't have to pursue Susie, but he chooses to because he can't handle losing Alice. That is a huge plot point throughout the whole series. Mostly after amnesia, because it becomes like a toxic trait that he eventually learns to outgrow. Here's where it gets interesting. When he breaks time, it isn't obvious at first. Sure, it sets Mr. Boy free and a bunch of other events we will go over later. I keep saying that because I keep wanting to go on a tangent, go everywhere, but I know that confuses some people. So I will try to explain this in a coherent manner and stay on topic. So, the reason this loop thing with time happens, like, again after time breaks is because, sorry, the thing, not the person, breaks is because, again, the power he now has, he loses it after amnesia, by the way, because, like, story-wise, there's just no reason to have it, is, you know, like, I don't know how to explain this, like, not really gears, I guess rotors, like, just doing the, just gets tired of doing the same thing over and over, just, even though it has to. Yeah, that's relevant somehow. Not the gears or rotors thing, that's the analogy that's relevant. Hey, I'm struggling, not, like, going off on another tangent. When he breaks time, it kind of gets stuck in this loop, like, timeline loop thing, like, Groundhog Day. So now, it's expanded from just what Bendy can do. Now he's stuck there. Until he breaks out of it by, like, trying different things. Because, unlike Destroyer in his loop, which is a canonical curse, Bendy in his chosen fate doesn't really do anything different. He just kind of plays it out, like, plays it safe. Until he comes to a timeline with, a lack of a better term, a more emo version of himself named Bendy. To which now Time Bendy goes by Time, because he's now given that name by him. And he was not going to interact with Alice until it was, quote, time to. Till it was, like, the proper moment to. Where Bendy says, actually, hey, why don't you interact with her any sooner? Like, you could just change things. He's like, but wouldn't that break things? Like, because in the past, doing so had broken universes to a varying degree. Dimensions, universes, whatever, timelines. And that is why in Lore of the Roleplay, when Bendy tries explaining things to Alice, he's like, oh no, don't break this one too, please. And I will just say, aside from, like, the diary cutbacks, the first time we meet Alice, that is not Bendy's Alice. He doesn't find her for a long time. But I was gonna say the varying degree, that's not anything relevant. The many times that Bendy is tricked by Susie, those are different timelines. I know it's not obvious, I know it feels like it's just, like, a different day in the same timeline. That is not true. It kind of has to be a different day in... Sorry. It has to be a different timeline, not a different day, because he does tell Alice some things that our Alice doesn't know. Can't know. And if it did stay in the same timeline, he just wouldn't leave that timeline. And then now we have a contradiction of where the series contradicts itself. We're not doing FNAF as our lord, like, contradictions everywhere, how does it work? There's various times that either Alice makes the first move or Bendy makes the first move after that initial, I guess, revelation to time Bendy. Of, oh, you can, like, try different things. So he tries different things. Some things simply do not work. Like, Susie stops him. And then it eventually gets to the point where they now have friends, which you would think is, you know, in the OG timeline, right? It is not. The reason they get along so well with Sunny in the Roleplay SMP is because Sunny's met them before. In other timelines. other versions of events. Like, that whole thing has played out before. That is why Bendy's death in Lore of the Roleplay are, like, taking place somewhere around season 5 or 6. Destroyer's not revealed to, like, be a corruption or, like, evil. That's why Popcorn's not dead. That's why Sunny's not torturing Bendy and Alice, because it's not really, well, it's OG Bendy, but it's not OG Alice yet. That is why when Destroyer kills Bendy, that's not in the roleplay. Also, I wrote that after, like, way after season 5, so we're going with that. And that's the reason, like, he dies and goes to heaven and is told, hey, you've been here many times, and it is not your time yet. Go back. Oh yeah, you're not gonna remember either. So then after that, it cuts to our current timeline in the canon, which I call the canon timeline, where now Bendy's explaining some things that did canonly happen. And, well, from a different, like, side of things. Like, we don't know, like, how he was feeling or, like, what, like, other things happened while Alice was gone. Like, he and Sunny were hanging out, or, like, you know, stuff like that. Or, like, how he and Alice felt, like, directly after their fight, when they're captured by Destroyer. So it picks up from there only in the diary that they're in the canon universe now, in the canon timeline now, where Bendy's explaining some past events that literally just took place a few days ago, or a few hours ago, which I'm pretty sure it's when he was in the simulation, and yeah, okay, no. I think it was just, like, the entire simulation episode broken down into 2 parts. I don't know why I'm holding up 2 things. I'm in VR chat way too much. Holding up 2 parts, right? Where, like, I think we pick up from where, the mechanical Bendy thing has a sword and Alice is freaking out, and then to some moments where Bendy's trying to get, like, the switches in the walls flipped and whatever, and is freaking out about being caught. And then cuts to when he's writing that in the diary, and, like, back to what actually happened in their fight. Stuff like that. The only time ever in Lore of the Roleplay that we're ever in the canon timeline, for real, is in the last chapter. In, sorry, I don't remember if Bendy dies in the last chapter, or, the diary episode, diary one is the last, chapter there, but that's the only time. If it cuts back to a different timeline where Bendy dies, then so be it, that's fine. I just explain things chaotically. It's probably only natural. My work does too. So we jump back and forth in the timeline, right? We also do that in season 2 sometimes of the roleplay. So I'm gonna say after Bendy dies in Lore of the Roleplay, the final, like, chapter, that is when, like, he goes to the canon timeline. That would make the most sense. Now, one thing I will point out is the interaction with 2 Bendys being there in the timeline should make sense. Like, that, like, the interaction Time has with Bendy like berating him for like not trading Alice, like nice, I guess. Like, not that he's rude, just like making false promises like, oh yeah, I'll show you, oh wait, never mind, I can't, you should be good on your own. And just like feeling bad for her when Susie is becoming aware. Like, some events do change when we're in the canon timeline. Like, Alice and Bendy aren't like ice skating during the Valentine's Day episode, and Alice doesn't run away. Like, they might be ice skating, but like Alice doesn't like try to actually learn how to ice skate. Bendy doesn't teach her. Like, he's trying different things are happening. She doesn't run away crying, just like whatever. And I'm pretty sure during the swimming pool episode, when Alice phases through Bendy, just walks right through him, that is when time, like, itself both does and does not catch up to him. Because, you know, time is broken and just... Time at this point is breaking down so much, the universe itself is breaking down. That is not when the universe resets, though. It resets when Bendy gets amnesia. That is why we don't see any remnants of friends around until after Bendy gets amnesia, because at that point the universe is reset. When time does catch up to him, again, this is confusing, my apologies, but also, I don't really care. When time does catch up to him in the swimming pool episode in season 1, he kind of describes it as like just becoming one with the Inkk, and Alice just walked through. That, I'm gonna say, is when Bendy died. Not Time Bendy, sorry. Bendy, like the second Bendy that's in the timeline there. Because normally, Time has explained this before, when he was time traveling and there were multiples of them in the timeline, like, Time Bendy goes back and in his room is another Bendy that's essentially his past self or something. Like, if that one's dead, or like he accidentally kills him or something, like he'll just replace him. Or like, if he's just not there, he'll replace him and then interact with Alice. He has killed Alice before in different timelines. Now, I'm not sure if I want that to be like during some of the times that he was time traveling in season 2, like when Alice was on the wall and stuff in the Inkk block, or before the canon timeline. I'm thinking it would make sense to do both, because he seems more unstable, like unwilling to do so, like before the canon, but also, I don't know. Like, before the canon, he doesn't really want to hurt Alice. Like, there's no reason to. So that's why I'm kind of conflicted, like, but why? Why would that happen? Like, it's throwing a fork in this, it's throwing a wrench in our plans, essentially. I don't know where else it would happen, though, because otherwise, like, the only other time we see Bendy time traveling is in season 2, and that's only on, like, a few occasions when time is breaking down after he and all the other Bendys became one. When the universe collapsed. Sorry, not the universe. When, like, the temporal collapse happened. That is when he became one with the Inkk and Alice walked through him. The second temporal collapse, is what Alice calls the universe resetting, happened when everything caught up to him when he time traveled again and got amnesia. I feel like I'm going in circles. I'm starting to think that it would make more sense, like just story-wise, for Bendy killing Alice before and killing himself before. Not like, you know, YouTube, don't please. Like, killing another version of himself, let's say. And another version of Alice. When he was time traveling in season 2. Just things that we didn't see. That would make the most sense. After the temporal collapse. I think. Yeah, because he wouldn't become them because he doesn't get that power till season 7. Okay. Sorry, what I'm talking about power is like, okay, at a certain point in season 7, Bendy gets this power, or like, just has the power to travel in his sleep to like other places while his body remains like where he was, but like his spirit can possess like another version of himself and he's just there. Okay? That is the context. He doesn't get that power till season 7, so, yeah, that does not throw a wrench in my plans of, it taking place after the temporal collapse like I thought it did. Okay. That works. Anyways, I forget what I was talking about. There's too much going on. And we're just barely through season 2. There's 9 seasons and multiple series I need to go over. I don't think I updated my background at all. I had to move that guy over. That works. Okay. That's where Lore of the Roleplay fits in, and the diary entries happen before the canon timeline. The OG timeline is the timeline before any other timeline. However, that's also contradictory because Bendy breaks time, and it's kind of set before and after events. That is all I will tell you without spoiling shit. Like, certain events happen, but also don't before Bendy breaks time. Can I explain this? Just certain things we do and don't know happen. That kind of does and doesn't make sense happening before the canon and before the OG time. I don't know. So, Daycare For Hire. I'm not switching gears here. Daycare For Hire, the series on my main channel here, Solarsammyyt, or Solarsammy, whatever, is canon to Minecraft Batim. Yes. It also is canon to TikTok FNAF. TikTok FNAF happens in the OG timeline after Bendy and Alice meet Sunray and Moonfall. So, where it takes place in the timeline is... I could show you that on the wall, actually. Like, that entirely is the timeline. For the most part, just not broken down, like, okay, this takes place in Minecraft Batim, this takes place in Minecraft Batim, this takes place in Daycare For Hire. No. It's mostly just, like, Daycare For Hire's right here, Minecraft Batim's right here, TikTok FNAF's right here, Lore of the Roleplay's here, you know. Stuff like that. Well, Lore of the Roleplay, like, both of them are, like, all over the place, because if we're talking about the diary entries, like, Bendy's diary, that takes place before any of that shit. In the OG timeline when, like, before Bendy and Alice drowned in the Inkk. That is how they died, by the way. Before all this shit can happen. Alice has to become an Inkk creature, so she has to die. Bendy has to die, so... yeah. So that happens. And then... So, Bendy's diary, like, events and stuff that do and don't happen, that's, like, in the gray area. But for now, right here, Bendy's diary. First event in the timeline. The OG timeline. Before it, like, breaks and gets erased, and then everyone's moved over here to the canon. So, what I mean by breaks is when Susie kills Alice. Okay. Time breaks many, many times. only 2 of which is canon. Like, can be suitable to make the universe, like, reset and break down. So the first time it breaks is when Bendy goes back in time the first time to stop Susie. That is when he gains this ability thing. It's not ability, just like he's able to like unlock things with his Inkky powers because he hadn't been able to do that before. And that is when the whole like chasing Susie with Sammy Lawrence and Allison thing like takes place. Because at some point it gets to like Alice is even on board with trying to stop Susie. And they're like in this facility thing, whatever. I don't know. Right now I'm going based off of like TikToks I made and trying to make sense of that. Like various things in the past that just don't make sense, trying to make sense of them. So I'm gonna guess that they were like in this facility thing. Susie was like in charge, has this army, and Bendy and co just like fight her or like sneak in and then defeat her or like whatever, have to like sneak out or whatever. I know I said like whatever 3 times in a row, I'm so sorry. And then, because Susie's dead, she's now tethered to Bendy. Not like Bendy is to Destroyer though. Here, I'm gonna say, because it makes more sense, while they're in this like loop thing chasing each other, if one dies, they're... fuck. I can't fucking use that because we already did that before. Okay, I could, but like, hey, the time travel shit was mine already. I'm having trouble trying to like not tell the same story over and over. Like, trying to make sense of it. Because, it would make sense if, like, Susie died, then it would kill Bendy and they'd both start over. Like, in the studio. Okay, the facilities takes place in the studio, then, because they can't go anywhere other than that. Because time isn't broken at this point, because, like, to that varying degree that they can, like, rip, like, space-time rifts and things. Otherwise, the corruption would have gotten to them already. Prime would have already found them in the OG timeline. We can't have that. So, Bendy's diary, right? Then the OG timeline. So, like, that takes place around, like, 2050, because, okay, it kind of has to, because they have to go on adventures in, like, other universes so that they meet Sunray and Moonfall, but they also don't leave the studio in such a way that, like, it attracts attention to them in their universe. Because then we can't have it freaking Daycare For Hire. And it has to. So, in the OG timeline, that is when DFH starts. Because they're still in the OG timeline. In Lord of the Roleplay 2, this is before TikTok FNAF, but after the events of Bendy's diary, like right after the events of Bendy's diary, Lord of the Roleplay 2 happens in some amount, because it's not fully written yet though. So like my plan for that is like telling the story of how Sunray and Moonfall met Bendy and Alice, and then like skipping over TikTok FNAF so I'm not having like continuity errors and stuff. And then going into Glitch Moon 2, and the Vanity Virus, all that, leading up to the pilot of DFH. Okay. Then, going off of just them meeting Bendy and Alice, TikTok FNAF happens, Then I was gonna do a vlog series of this. I don't know if we still will, but Bendy and Alice go missing from like that universe. They basically go home and then just don't come back. That is when Susie kills Alice and starts Bendy's nightmare. From that point on, for like a few months, every one of their animatronic friends are looking for them. And during that time, Lunar and Cloud, oh my gosh. During that time, Lunar and Cloud get married. However, I need to also explain Daycare For Hire's lore and shit. And I can't without explaining Minecraft Batim first. Okay, Daycare For Hire. I can't explain that because it happens after that shit. So, TikTok FNAF. Right. Has Bendy, Alice, Sunray, Moonfall, Daylight, Nightlight. Nightlight's not really present. He kind of shows signs of the Vandy virus first. Of the virus that will eventually cause him to go kill kids later on in, like, the wide range of we're not gonna show it. We're just gonna hear about it. Tell, don't show. And then that's gonna cause Sunray and Moonfall to separate from Day and Nightlight. But no, that would be the perfect catalyst actually for Glitch Moon 1 to stop being a thing, and then them to be vulnerable for Glitch Moon 2. Because while they're searching for Bendy and Alice, Moon is showing signs of Glitch Moon 1, which has to happen after Nightlight goes and kills kids. Which he does again after they're separate, but firstly. So, TikTok FNAF. Their adventures and stuff. Fazbear partners with 2 companies in the whole series. They try to partner with other companies, but firstly they partner with Artzii, Inkk. I am making my company a canon thing in that universe. Okay, sorry, I was wrong about, like, where that takes place. So first, Fazbear makes Lunar, right, to be a brother kind of thing to Sun and Moon, but they don't really see him as that, so he's more of like a friend. Then they partner with Artzii, Inkk and make Cloud, which Cloud and Lunar fall in love. Okay. And then some other things happen that I'm not gonna spoil because it's pretty interesting, actually. So I'm just gonna put question marks because I know what would happen. Y'all don't know what will happen yet. Because we'll address it in future series, things, whatever. Future plans. It's the best way I can describe it without giving shit away. Because I know somebody is still watching my channel. Probably. I don't know, we just like to keep tabs on him because being stupid. So, okay. The only reason this would not make sense to y'all if I explained what's going on is because we still have videos with him in it. That's why we haven't made a video talking about it aside from, like, hey, there's more drama. That's the first you guys have ever heard that we are all opposed to Mad. Now, like, nobody on my team, like, knows him or cares about him. and like we just had to depart from Corrupted for like, I don't even know how long ago. Like, I don't know, we made it like pretty far in filming though before either of them departed our ranks. Like, I think somewhat through like season 4 or 5. Yeah, like halfway through like season 5, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Like I said, like where we are on YouTube and filming is totally different. Like we were filming season 4, we were still in season 2. Or like something like that. So that is why Mad is still in some videos. That is why Corrupted is like just starting to be in some videos, because that is right around the time that we met him. Yeah, I'll go over that in a future video when it comes out. Like probably around DFH's end, because it's really irrelevant right now. We're just trying to write around him and stuff. The reason he's not in credits is because he really didn't do that much for shit, and he wasn't like a lore writer or anything. Like, okay, he came up with some ideas, but not like deep lore. And I don't really know what all Corrupted did, but like, again, not like deep lore. Just something we decided to go with after like writing out Mad. And then he decided to flake, and we're just writing whatever at this point. Still a coherent story that makes sense. We're still having to write around like the Dreamworld animatronics, because I think where Mad left off was like most of them are scrapped. So like sometimes you'll see Ribbon Dancer played by Mad, sometimes you'll see him played by like other people. But I think I've said this before as well, like unlike Minecraft Batim Daycare For Hire, unlike Minecraft Batim, in Daycare For Hire, most of the roles can be like switched around. Like anybody can play any role if it fits. Like when Mad was around, he was barely ever online, same with Corrupted, so like their characters would be played by other people and we'd just roll with that. So it's not that big of a deal, but just frustrating. Corrupted didn't really like expose or like try to expose lore like Mad did, but he said he did. And just pissed off people on the team, so I'm just like, okay, bud, I'm sorry, majority vote, I have to kick you off, I'm so sorry. No, we were fine like being friends, and then like a few months ago, I guess he just decided not to be friends. I don't know. No idea. Yeah, fun. Back on topic of Daycare For Hire and shit. So after Cloud is made, stuff I can't tell you yet happens. Then they go on, like, Lunar and Cloud get together. Bendy and Alice goes missing. Lunar and Cloud get married. The Glitch Moon 1 thing happens after they quelled whatever was going on with Nightlight, and then they separate. Sorry, the Day and Nightlight eclipse separates from Sunray and Moonfall. Sorry, I'm saying eclipse because, well, spelled with a Y. They've always been eclipses, and that is because they were viruses put in their system. Maybe by Fazbear, I don't know. Haven't figured that out yet. It's like, huh, what should it be? Should it be like by Fazbear, or they just became, you know? It'd make more sense if it was by Fazbear, honestly. I think we're gonna put it was by Fazbear. They put 2 eclipse viruses in to calm Moon down. Maybe to keep him from getting a Vanny virus, but they got a Vanny virus anyways. Oh well. Then I don't really know. Maybe more lore of the roleplay too. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Then Glitch Moon 2 happens, and then Nightlight is activated or something, controlled by Vanny, let's say. Hence the Vanny virus. And goes killing kids and whatever, and Sun is just trapped in his head as Moon does all this. He tries to talk to him, but no avail. Moon also can't control what he's doing and isn't really conscious, just I guess for lack of a better term, controlled. And then I believe I'm gonna cover that in Lore of the Roleplay too. That would make more sense. And then Fazbear shuts them down, the Pizzaplex down for 2 years, or at least the daycare. And then they open it back up around the pilot where there's a hiring event. That is where we first meet Star and most of the cast. However, I just remember this. Around the time of Glitch Moon, or 5 years before the pilot, Lunar and Earth, wow, I watched too much of that shit. Lunar and Cloud go missing and die, leaving baby Luna with Sun and Moon. However, while the Glitch Moon stuff is happening, Sun is able to at least control Moon at that point, to the point to where whenever they're around baby Luna, it doesn't come out. She's unaware. And then they learn of Sol, her brother, who is also a Sun and Moon variant thing. What I mean by Sun and Moon variant is can switch back and forth. We have many of those. And oh yeah, up to the end of TikTok FNAF, all of this, unless said otherwise, is taking place while Bendy is chasing Susie throughout time. Complicated timeline, I know. This is happening while this is happening, but this is also happening at the same time? What? Yeah. So pilot of DFH, where they meet everyone, and then up to, I think we're saying season 4? Or season 3, whatever, because time is breaking down right now, as we speak during DFH. That is why Sun is losing his memories and Moon can't fix the corrupted files. And that's why some episodes just don't make sense, the anomalies, in Mad's virus and anomalies in season 1. And why some things that happen just don't air. Actually, in actuality, I had issues filming. It was either an audio error or a visual error, so we just didn't post it and just gave hints about it and just talked about it. So yeah, but lore-wise, because this has to make sense, lore-wise, it's because the universe is breaking down and shit, and time is breaking, and let's just say their sensors weren't working that day. And what I'm talking about is the season 1 finale was supposed to be Moon getting infected by the virus, which we call the Quixotic virus. This is a Dreamworld AU as well, by the way. Or just because Mad added Dreamworld characters. So we call it the Quixotic virus, this tall, shadowy sun figure thing with a like tail moon thing. And then like Star also got infected, like, and we ended up chasing Zion, who plays Luna. I think she might have PTSD from that, by the way, because, okay, we filmed this in VR chat, right? And Sun and Moon are freaking tall, right? Baby Luna's all the way down here. She's like her hand is like that to Moon. That's the size difference of Moon and Luna. In, I think, season 3, or like between season 2 and 3, she like has a growth spurt. Now, then not baby Luna anymore, becomes Kid Luna. That's what we call her among the crew. And she suddenly has trauma, and then season 2 happens. And then in season 3, the same thing happened with filming. The audio and the video just, no. So it either didn't record, or it was a corrupted file, or the audio was jacked. The audio was just shit. So like sometimes either you could hear me and nobody else, or you could hear everyone else but not me, or like, sorry, no, you could hear everyone else but not me, or the audio just straight up cut out. You couldn't hear anybody. We film on Discord instead with audio, like we do with Minecraft Batim. Yeah, so during the season 2 finale, going into season 3, there's like this big thing with the virus, like, infecting everybody. And it wasn't just the Quixotic virus though, it was another virus, I don't remember what it was. And Moon, Luna, and Ash, and Nightlight or Daylight, I don't remember, one of the eclipses, there's 2, unless we meet another dimensional one, are running just through the Pizzaplex, because they really like need to get out of the Pizzaplex, but they never do. I don't know why. We just wrote that out of the script, just like, yeah, just stay in the Pizzaplex. I know Moon said we have to leave like an hour ago, but yeah, just block the door. Kinda upset that it didn't record, or like just whatever the frick happened, because we were accidentally in this like public lobby, which worked out so well because in the story the Pizzaplex is open, and like we ran into 2 people who were using the like DJ Music Man skin. It was so freaking cool, hilarious, and whatever. Just, yeah, fun. And then after that, Winnie like did something to Ash, or like, I don't remember if like he gave her a virus, or like scratched her or whatever, or if it was the virus itself just got her, but like she was bleeding, and Sun had to carry her because Moon was like, I can't. Oh yeah, by the way, in season 2, Moon adopted Ash as his daughter. Yeah, and then in the hospital, the Dreamworld animatronics, or moreover, the spirits of the Dreamworld animatronics, appeared to Moon and Luna Ursal, like, who was just sitting in the corner, and made a deal with them to, like, help Luna and help them if they, like, helped free the spirits, which I'm still not sure how that's relevant anymore, because none of that ever happened. Like, we freed the collector and whatever. That is also a video that's never gonna see a light of day, because I had to reset my meta recently, and I lost all the footage that was already on it for season 4, that wasn't already up on Facebook. So, I don't know, like season 4 or 5, I don't know. I remember seeing a season 4 video in there, and then like most season 5, maybe I forgot something. So, yeah, that's fun. So we're having to like refilm some things, or just like move on from it, because I'm realizing sometimes when we jump into, like, Dreamworld lore, that's just it. We just jump into it. Like, it has nothing to do with the previous episode or the lore, like, as we were going before. Like, Ash was in the hospital, right, in one episode, and Moon made the deal, and then in the next episode, they were back in the daycare, and none of the Dreamworld animatronics had any recollection of anything happening, or, like, any deal, and only Moon and Ash remembered what happened. Just, like, I could have sworn this place was, like, trashed or something, or, like, we were in a hospital. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, so, fun. Love it when shit doesn't work. And then season 3 happens, and then around that time, I think we're gonna say that, like, time itself was, like, just breaking down. Like, that's when Bendy broke time. So not when the universe reset, because it's just not gonna work. It's, like, too far over there in the future for that to happen, because the OG timeline has to be erased and gone, and everyone else in a new timeline before the events of the canon can happen. So, then season 3 finale. I don't remember what happened in the season 3 finale, honestly. As far as I can tell you, in season 4, time is breaking down. That's why, like, we're suddenly meeting, like, new, different, like, creatures and things. That's why we're getting some anomalies, like Crimson, or, Eclipse, or, like, Blood Moon 6. Oh yeah, there's, like, 6 or 7 Blood Moons in the series. They're not even from our universe. I think there were, like, no, there were 3 Blood Moons canonly in DFH before that. And then that's all I can say on Daycare For Hire without spoiling things. But eventually, like, I think we're on, now I think we're on a different timeline, because the OG timeline's gone now. And I might be wrong, and I might say in the comments, this isn't canon, and this standpoint, this, you know. But I think for DFH, the OG timeline gets cut off after season 5 or season 6, that the OG timeline, like, got erased. Maybe? No, okay. So according to the thing on my wall, the diagram, DFH split off from the OG timeline when Bendy broke time, so it's not really, like, a specified date, but it's before season 3, and then the OG timeline itself is erased after season 6 of Minecraft Batim, and Minecraft Batim itself splits off at the same point that DFH does into its own timeline. Like, before the pilot. Obviously, but, at some point when Bendy is chasing Susie throughout time. That's what I'm gonna say, because I didn't specify in there. There's still some other things in our canon that I need to address. Like, Roleplay SMP. Where's Minecraft Batim? Hang on. The, Pizzeria Studio, Bendy and Alice Plays, and Bendy's Old Adventures, which is a new series, by the way. It's taken place all in the past until I can get a different story that makes sense, probably after Minecraft Batim is done, for Bendy to have new adventures. I don't know if that's gonna work though. I don't really know what Destroyer's planning, and I'm not gonna spoil it. After the OG timeline's erased, DFH is done, and we're in... what does that say? Okay, so Bendy loses his memory before the OG timeline is erased. It's just that their timeline breaks off before that. Okay. So, is there anything else I need to explain, like, while we're on the topic of Season 1 still? The things that Bendy accidentally set in motion when he broke time is the OG timeline getting reset and erased, the corruption alerted to Minecraft Batim's existence, Mr. Boy being able to be free for a bit, killing Mr. Boy's creator, his friends and future friends to their inevitable deaths because of Prime Destroyer and the corruption, making a timeline loop of the studio he eventually broke, we just covered that, finding friends and people, finding them and whatever, and they became friends. That's where Sunny, Popcorn, Destroyer, Troll, and like all their friends came from. Marionette, their animatronic friends at the Pizzeria Studio. Prime finding them, not just Destroyer, Prime Destroyer. Stumbling upon Marionette. Marionette specifically, because I don't know if we stated this directly, but Marionette does not belong to the Pizzeria Studio. Like, I think he was just hiding there or something. I don't know. And then Mr. Boy actually being released, unless that's a canon event that just happens. That part I'm guessing, I don't know. Back to Bendy's soul. It's been like maybe an hour or two since we covered that again. So, Time Bendy and Time have one soul. Both active, right? Then when Time loses it on Sunny, Time Bendy's already dead. So we kind of have to pinpoint where Time Bendy dies and Time takes over, because they're both aware of everything. Because, like, we know this because Time eventually, eventually it's just obvious that Time Bendy's dead. It's so obvious that they're two different people at this point. Time loses it at every little thing and is not used to change. Time Bendy, however, didn't really like change in the beginning and then learned to adapt to it and learned to adapt to Alice's chaos, just like found it weird. Time loved Alice's chaos and just was around it like his whole existence, you know. Time Bendy fell in love with it. So the reason Time Bendy died and Time didn't is because he was supposed to die when Time broke, and supposed to when the universe reset. Honestly, I thought he did when the universe reset, because he was supposed to. But I think now, I know I'm going in circles, I'm so sorry. Now that they're both there, at least they're both present when he got amnesia, he just thought they were the same person. Like, think of Blood Moon from the Sun and Moon show. Except they're not voices in each other's heads or two separate people, they just think they're one. So he didn't really comment on it. That also wasn't a thing when I was filming it. When Time Bendy dies, Time just takes over, and that's why he doesn't ask questions or anything, aside from when he has amnesia, because he already knows. That also makes sense why he gets his memories back faster, and later on knows more and more, probably than Time Bendy did even back in the pilot. Because he still has a Swiss cheese brain from time traveling and stuff, because it takes a toll on your body. And because he was supposed to die when the universe reset and kind of didn't, that is why in season 9 Bendy describes, he is decaying from the inside out. Like, it's eventual, like, it's inevitable that he's going to die. Probably of natural causes, because his lifespan is way longer than it should be, for one. He's millennia years old, whereas Time Bendy was only like 10,000 years old, as far as we know. Yes, I say we, I don't know either. Last time he said was in the Allison's book club episode back in season 3, when he was getting his memories back. That's the last time we hear of Bendy's age, aside from being 19 forever. That's not to say he doesn't age. That means, like, when he and Alice died, they were 19, now they're 19 forever. But they do age, obviously. We just say they're forever 19, just because. So, he is now over a few millennia years old because of, like, time travel and stuff, and just the amount of time he and Alice have been in the studio. I know I kind of fucked it up in season 7 or something by saying it's only been 100 years.
Other episodes in S6 and S8 confirm that it has in fact been more than 100 years only since S3, i.e. Bendy and Alice's memories are shit.
Since Bendy told Alice, like, about his powers, like, the transference of powers through physical touch and, like, strong emotion, that is not sex. What I mean by that is, like, love, hate, fear. Like, if Susie touched Bendy, like, on the shoulder or something, and, like, he's just feeling immense hate towards her, she's going to gain his powers. She's going to gain access. And that's not just linked to Inkk. Not just linked to Inkk, or the Inkk. Like, Alice has powers, but needs Bendy's powers to activate hers. I don't know why I wrote that in, but it makes sense. If Susie got that, that'd be dangerous. I think she did gain access to it back in season 4, but, like, just didn't realize it. Season 4? No, not maybe season 4. I don't know, back in Tricks. Probably season 4, because, yeah, that's right. Season 4, because in season 5, Bendy and Alice are already broken up by that point. Spoilers! They break up at some point. Yeah, the reason he's decaying is because, like, his lifespan actually is probably just going to be, like, a few 100,000 years. But because of time travel and resetting things and, like, his body, I guess, being reset back in, like, when he was chasing Susie. I keep trying to say Sunny. Sorry if I did say Sunny, by the way, when I meant Susie. Chasing Susie throughout time, and, like, dying repeatedly, that counted, I guess, to his age going up. So that is how he's able to be millennia years old and not, like, technically age, because he's just kind of frozen from the first time that he died with Susie, because he was also 19 out of the Inkk. Also, we get their ages in season 2 episode when we're talking to the Patrick and SpongeBob ghosts. That's a thing, by the way. So we get Alice's Inkk certificate, which says she's 19. Or, like, she came out of the Inkk again. Sorry, not again. She came out of the Inkk 19 years ago. And Bendy is the same age as Alice, just a few weeks older. That would make sense. So they start off 19 in the OG timeline before Susie takes over. Like, Susie is already taking over Alice at this point, but she's not killing her. I may have stated that incorrectly before by saying, like, she betrayed them by taking over Alice. What I meant by that is she took over, like, betraying them, yes, taking over her, and then killed Alice later on. Like, that's why most of their ghost friends are not around. These two new ghosts don't know anything about Susie yet. That's why they're not scared off. I like to think that Time Bendy is part of Time Soul, though. Like, he's not comatose, he's not present, he's just like, just living there, I guess. Just, well, I guess as a spirit you'd still be alive. Again, not meaning you reference the Sun and Moon show, but like, he can't like visit him. He can't, he's dead. The only way Time would be able to visit Time Bendy or like talk to him is another dimension Time Bendy. Which I think we did in season 9. Yeah. Bendy's soul split after the universe reset, that's why Time Bendy died in the first place. That's why Time isn't the same person as he used to be as Time Bendy. So the reason his soul is like a yin-yang is because Time Bendy is and isn't Time, and Time both is and isn't Time Bendy. That is exactly what I wrote down verbatim. I just explained it better. Before I go on to forgotten storylines, because that's getting into a whole nother can of worms, the Roleplay SMP. That is another instance of Bendy and Alice traveling to a different dimension, but this is in season 2, because I'm pretty sure that's also where they meet Popcorn. So that's Bendy experimenting with the Inkk, just like seeing if they can go places, because for the most part they haven't and didn't really think of doing that. So it's one instance of Time's presence being pronounced, because Time Bendy would not do that, at least normally. Or maybe he had a change of heart, trying different things, you know. So in the Roleplay SMP, aside from breaking the fourth wall and us just having fun, Bendy and Alice make friends with a chaotic being named Sunny and a shapeshifter named Popcorn. They go on adventures and stuff and die a bunch. Bendy makes it so where they're like in a video game, so like they're just constantly respawning. That's something they could not previously do with the Inkk, is respawn with the Inkk, like when they die. So dying is not like an issue anymore at this point. And then Susie reveals her power of being able to like transmit to people, like taking over other people, which she's only previously done with Alice and Allison, but that's after they met Popcorn. At some point Susie is able to jump from Alice so she can jump to Allison, Bendy, and eventually partially Destroyer. And then they meet Troll, who's also like in this survival world thing. And then some non-canon things happen. And then Sunny brings Bendy again outside the studio to like this castle thing she's building in another dimension. Susie tortures Bendy. Bendy's like not really caring, I guess, because Sunny had trapped him and treated him like an animal, I guess, because he kept breaking things trying to mess with her. Oh yeah, and in a few episodes he had a notable crush on Sunny, even though he's with Alice. So that leads to some events in season 5, I think. Yeah. Pizzeria Studio. I don't really know when this takes place, but it's definitely before Marionette appears in season 2 somewhere. Also, that's why Allison just isn't present sometimes in season 2 at some point. So Alice and Allison go up to one of the upper levels in the studio, and then somehow, I'm gonna say because time's breaking down, a pizzeria collides with the studio, locking both individuals inside. The animatronics there, luckily no people were involved, and Alice and Allison. So then it becomes the Pizzeria Studio. So that's where they meet Piper, Mangle, Teddy, Puppet, some of the Foxies there, Marionette, Sandy, oh yeah, Teddy, who is definitely not Bendy. Definitely not. And some other characters I don't remember. And eventually Bendy just like gets worried after a week or so of not hearing back from Alice, and then meets up with her just like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm still very sick. And Alice explains the situation. He gets them out of there and then leaves Allison on that level, dropping Alice off every now and then from the weeks following that one, and then accidentally leaving Inkk on the ground. Marionette picks it up and I guess infuses it with himself because he can just teleport without the need or help of Bendy and Alice sometimes. Bendy and Alice plays. That takes place all throughout the freaking timeline that they're able to canonly play games. Like season 1, some of the Hive games, I guess. Maybe the Ponytown one when Alice is alone and bored. Then Little Big Planet. Then later on, Help Wanted. And then some of this is and isn't canon just because me and my friends like to play games together. Bendy and Destroyer play SMP, or SCP. Alice and Destroyer play Phasmophobia, and if you know from the series, Destroyer, the character is mute. my friend isn't, but the character is. We could say that's a different Destroyer, like we did one time when Marionette stole a Destroyer that can talk, just to watch Bendy play a game. Yeah. And then we did a collaboration of Solar Solstice from the Dragon Kingdom and Prime Destroyer just stuck in this, like, Phasmophobia thing. And then Alice and Destroyer are abducted by aliens. Oh yeah, and then while Bendy and Alice are having friends around, I didn't get back to that, I'm so sorry. I had freaking messed it up once by saying it had been 100 years, but also, Bendy had told Sunny it had been like 500 years ago, or like a few hundred years ago. So yeah, I'm just gonna write off that continuity as Bendy and Alice just have really bad memories at this point. Hey, listen, they're both slowly dying over time. They're not supposed to be alive this long, to like literally the end of the universe or whatever. Or like, you know, like as an example, like they're not supposed to be alive forever. And Bendy's suddenly getting memory issues because it's just been so long. And then Alice is having memory issues because of like Susie, things Susie blacked out, things Susie took. The memories disk accidentally shattered when taking Susie out. My memory issues translating to the characters because I don't remember shit. Yeah, but they were with their friends for many, many thousands of years. It was not 100 years. That would not work. I'm so sorry. So Bendy's old adventures does take place around that time, but it's not in the Minecraft universe. It's still in Minecraft Batim's canon universe, like the umbrella term of like canon. But we're just gonna say like he's either traveling for fun when they're with friends and or kind of forced to be somewhere because of Sunny, because Sunny likes torturing Bendy sometimes. And the first 2 episodes out right now is the Penalty Zone and the Rubber Room. I connected it back to, I connected Minecraft Batim back to the Next Gens, which is canon in this universe, but it's made in a way where it takes place on a different Earth than where Sankra lives, because otherwise she also would be killed there, or like her family would. I mean, that would make sense, because, you know what? No, it's the same Earth, because that would make sense, because they don't go to Earth anymore. So, Destroyer can kill people on Earth and nobody gives a shit on Lotus. And most of the story takes place on a different planet, in a different galaxy universe thing. And, yeah. So, he's not gonna touch that part because it's both canon and non-canon. Because it's not really the voice I wanted for Drapple. And I don't know who Alex is. I'm pretty sure I said something about someone named Alex in season 3 when Sunny answered the phone and Trouble answered. I don't know. Alec, something, I don't know. That's canon. It's just in a different universe thing where everything there is major, but like doesn't have an effect on Minecraft Batim at all. So yeah, fun. Not all my series are connected. It's not like a Disney, Pixar, like everything's connected kind of thing. No. The Dragon Kingdom is canon though. Dragon Kingdom's canon. That's just because it also takes place on Earth and in a remote location where it doesn't really matter that everybody's dead. Because there's no one there to begin with. But no other series I make, unless explicitly said, is canon to Minecraft Batim in the overall umbrella term. I'm only making Dragon Kingdom canon just because it makes sense. And I didn't really know what other character to use with my voice because I didn't feel like doing Bendy's voice. So I just said Solar Solstice. Yeah. Forgotten plot points or storylines in Minecraft Batim. So far, because we will be covering this again after Minecraft Batim's done. Susie didn't always possess Alice. We're gonna say that in a different timeline, aside from the OG one. Okay, when I say OG, I mean like the timeline that Bendy and Alice is from. Not the timeline Susie's from, because Susie isn't from that timeline. And since all the Bendys in the universe became one, Bendy now remembers that. That's why Susie brings it up in season 1 in the finale. That makes so much sense, actually. Like, of course! It doesn't make sense. Susie didn't always possess Alice, she possessed someone else who Bendy knew. The only time Bendy makes the inky noise is when he's grossed out. Yeah, I guess. Now it's like when he's about to puke, when he is grossed out, when he's disgusted, like he used to rarely make it, now he makes it almost all the time, where you can recognize it. Whoa. This was gonna require its own video. But there's not enough, like, I don't have the motivation to do that. So, I'm just going to list off the episodes I think tackles this. Not every single one, because we'd be here for like 10 hours otherwise. Times Minecraft Batim tackled real issues. Traumatic events and experiences. That falls under the entire, like, the entire canon. Traumatic events and experiences. That's from literally all of our characters. My characters, my friends' characters, protagonist, antagonist, whatever. All of them have traumatic experiences. Being possessive over someone. That is mostly with Bendy over the course of after he gets his memories back in season 2, up to the point where he breaks in Time Snapped in season 7. Sorry, no. Taking place in season 3, happening, like, revealed in season 7. Suicidal thoughts / persons. That kind of happens, like, throughout the series, like, jumping back and forth. Like, starting with, I guess the most obvious one would be Destroyer, like, in season 7. But in Time Snapped, it's revealed that Bendy is suicidal, he just can't do anything about it. I'm gonna guess that Time, like, based on, like, what I've said before, like, my previous ideas, is that my original idea was Time didn't think he could die, like, aside from, like, respawning in the Inkk, because that's just something he does. Like, he couldn't die, or, like, just wouldn't, because of, like, what happened in the past, of, like, he just respawned with Susie. Like, if he did die, like, he'd just come back with Susie. And just, like, be going through that again. Just like, nope, alright, focus on not dying. And then I think he eventually gets over that with, kind of the contradictory, thing with responding with the Inkk and the Roleplay SMP. Cause saying that kinda, like, defeats that. Makes no sense. Memory issues. That is all across the board with everybody. Yeah, trauma. Again, everybody. Okay, no, memory issues isn't really with everybody. I don't think Destroyer and Mary have memory issues, or Sunny. Or Disc. Maybe Dart. I don't know. Destroyer, does Dart have memory issues? Tell me in the comments below, please. I don't remember. Bendy and Alice, most definitely. Susie, she's time traveled as well. I'm gonna say yes. Sammy Lawrence, he's not around that much to really, like, go deep into his character. Allison, nobody really likes Allison. No, nobody cares. You can have your drama, Allison. No one gives a shit. Psychotic breaks. I don't know if Sunny's had a psychotic break, but, Destroyer, probably. Maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing. And from what we know on lore, this is only things we know on lore. Bendy, Alice, definitely. Probably Popcorn, but we don't know because he doesn't talk, I'm guessing. So, yeah. Also, I realized I said I would say the specific episodes. I don't know the episodes. Yeah. Just forget I said that. Coping, that's also all across the board. Like, I think Destroyer copes by drinking, but he also might just enjoy drinking. Bendy, he has many different ways of coping. So does Alice. But, like, I think Alice buried herself in her work trying to get Bendy's memories back first. Because before that, like, directly before that, she was traumatized of him, like, trying to kill her. Of course, that was, like, because he can't play hide and seek, and they played hide and seek. So the reason he can't play hide and seek, and I might have fucked this up with Lord of the Roleplay, but, like, sorry, in Lord of the Roleplay, not with it. Maybe he played it again and, like, remembered this time, but, like, the first time he was playing hide and seek trying to kill Alice. Ooh, actually, no, what would work would be, like, as he's remembering things, and, like, time is helping him remember things, he remembers his time with Joey, like, completely, like, without the extra, like, Swiss cheese brain and stuff, and, like, brainwashing, I guess, that Joey did, because, like, directly after realizing he was, like, trying to kill Alice, he didn't even know what happened. Maybe I could say, like, he remembered that too. That's why he doesn't play hide and seek. Or, like, he can't. Depression. Bendy and Destroyer, straight up. I don't know about any other character, but, that's the ones I've noticed. Straight up, those two. Enabling. Alice, Sunny, most definitely. Bendy. I don't think Destroyer has ever enabled anybody. Like, at least that we know of, like, on screen. Marionette definitely has enabled. And what has been enabled is, their psychotic breaks. Going crazy over literally nothing. Bringing up toxic traits like being possessive over someone. Excessive drinking like Alice got into. And then Sunny's excessive evilness, I guess, because Sunny is evil in the series. Just, I guess, like, chaotic neutral for a while and then chaotic evil, but, like, not directly towards Bendy and Alice because they're still friends. like all the things she's spawning. Marionette, because he doesn't really do anything to help them. He's just kind of there. Alcoholism. Definitely Bendy and Alice. Alice, comma, in season 4, and Bendy for like 1 episode in season 9. Aftermath of a breakup / growing. That is season 5 through season 6. Trust issues. That's everywhere. Not trusting NC, nice corruption. Having trust issues just in general, I guess, just because of their trauma and stuff. Attachment issues. Oh, that's everybody. That's everybody. Aside from the little things that don't really matter, and like stuff I actually can't tell you because I know it from a lore writer's perspective, or like what we actually are doing. That is it. I don't remember the shit in the timeline, like what takes place when, aside from what I just described. What? If you were paying attention like I wasn't, and you can put together a coherent timeline, be sure to do so in the comments below if you so wish. Anyways, my name's Solarsammy, there's nobody real here, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!